Was that a photo?
No, it was a flash video for a moment.
This silverish light was as bright as snow, so that it transparented every part of my body, and it was this day I knew the number of the bones of my body. But immediately I started to count them. These 3 ghosts shone 3 kinds of their lights on my body at this same time, in such a way that I could not move to and fro because of these lights. But as these 3 old ghosts shone their light on me at the same time, so I began to move around as a wheel at this junction. So I appreciated these lights as the same. But as I was staggering about in this junction for about half an hour because of these lights, the copperish ghost was wiser than the rest. He quenched his own copperish light from my body, so at this time I had a little chance to go to the rest. Of course, when the golden ghost saw that I could not run 2 races at a blow successfully, so he quenched his own light from my body too, and at this time I had a chance to run a single race to the silverish ghost. But when I nearly reached his room, then the copperish ghost and the golden ghost were lighting their lights on me as signals, and at the same moment the silverish ghost joined them to use his own light as signal to me as well, because I was distracted by the other 2 ghosts. Then I stopped again and looking at every one of them, how he was shining his own lights on me at 2 or 3 seconds interval as signal. Although I appreciated or recognized these lights as the same, but I appreciated one thing, which was food. At this food is my native food, which was cooked by the copperish ghost. But as I was very hungry, so I entered into his room. And when he saw that it was his room I entered, he was exceedingly glad, so that he gave me the food, which was the same color with copper. But as every one of these 3 old ghosts wanted me to be his servant, so that the other 2 ghosts were, the golden ghost and the silverish ghost, did not like me to be the servant of the copperish ghost, was given the food that I preferred the most. And both entered into the room of the copperish ghost. All of them started to argue. At last, all of them held me tightly in such a way that I could not breathe in or out. But as they held me with argument for about 3 hours, so when I was nearly cut into 3, as they were pulling me about in the room, I started to cry louder, so that all the ghosts and ghostesses of the area came to their house, and within 20 minutes this house could not contain the ghosts, heard information, and came to settle the misunderstanding. But when they came and met them, how they were pulling me about in the room, with argument, and they told them to leave me, and they left me at once. After that, all the ghosts came to settle the matter around to these 3 old ghosts and say goodbye, and they told me to choose one of them to myself to be my master, so there would be no more misunderstanding between themselves. So I stood before them, and looking at every one of them, my heart, which was throbbing hastily to the hearing of all of them, in such a way that the whole of the ghosts who came to settle the matter rushed to me to listen well to what my heart was saying. But as these wonderful creatures understood what my heart was saying, they warned me not to choose any of them with my mouth, because they thought it would speak partially against one of these 3 ghosts, as my heart was throbbing repeatedly as if a telegraphist is sending messages by telegraph. As a matter of fact, my heart first told me to choose a silverish ghost who stood ethics, which would be right, and if to say I would choose by mouth, I would only choose the copperish ghost for the African's food, and that was partiality. And it was at this time I noticed carefully the ghosts who came to settle the matter, that many of them had no hands, and some had no fingers, some had no feet and arms, but jumped instead of walking. Some had heads without eyes and ears, but I was very surprised to see them walking about both day and night without missing their way. And also it was this day I had ever seen ghosts without clothes on their bodies, and they were not ashamed of their nakedness. Uncountable numbers of them stood before me and looked at me as dolls with great surprise, and they had no heads or eyes. But as they forced me to choose the silverish ghost, as he was the ghost that my heart throbbed out to their hearing to choose, when I chose him, he was exceedingly glad and ran to me. Then he took me on his shoulder and into his room. But still the other 2 were not satisfied with the judgment of the settlers, and both ran to his room and started to fight again. The fight was so fearful and serious that all the creatures in that bush with big trees stood still in the same place where they were. Even breezes could not blow at this time, and these 3 old ghosts were still fighting on fiercely until a fearful ghost who was almost covered with all kinds of insects, which represented his clothes, entered their house, when hearing their noises from a long distance. All kinds of snakes, centipedes, and flies were living on every part of his body. Bees, wasps, and uncountable mosquitoes were also flying around him, and it was hard to see him plainly because of these flies and insects. But immediately this dreadful ghost came inside the house from heaven knows where. His smell, and also the smell of his body, first drove us to a long distance before he came back after a few minutes. But still his smell did not let every one of the settlers stand still. All his body was full of excreta, urine, and also wet with the rotten blood of all the animals that he was killing for his food. His mouth, which was always open, his nose and eyes were very hard to look at, as they were very dirty and smelling. His name was Smelling Ghost.
Who says? Says her? His name was Smelly Ghost.
It's a good name.
He was really smelly, yeah.
His name is Smelly Ghost. What made me surprised and fear most was that this Smelly Ghost wore many scorpions on his fingers as rings, and all were alive. Many poisonous snakes were also on his neck as beads, and he belted his leathern trousers with a very big and long boa constrictor, which was still alive. Of course, at first, I did not know that he was the king of all the smelling ghosts in the 7th town of ghosts. Immediately he entered this house. They, golden ghosts, silverish ghosts, and copperish ghosts, stood fighting at once. After that, he called them out of the room in which they were fighting. When they came out,